there, what a beautiful day. I thought I'd take the opportunity today to put together a video to show you how we actually construct our epoxy river chopping boards. And today, as you can see, I'm using a couple of pieces of olive wood which will be constructed and cut down to be level and then go into the mould with the epoxy. So let's take a closer look at how I do this. So first things first, don your PPE, because jigsaws and sawdust and things like that are not really good for your health. So always gloves, glasses and a respirator or mask to stop you inhaling sawdust. Now onto the important stuff. Here's our first piece of olive wood, which I've marked up. And the first important note here is to make sure that you've got a perfectly 90-degree angle, because you want your chopping boards to be dead on square. You don't want any wonky edges. So this has been marked up, and the areas that we're going to be removed have been blanked off, so we know how to make our cut. So once you're satisfied that you've cut your boards down to a nice square edge, the next thing we need to address, if you look very carefully here, you'll see that there's bark all the way along the side of this piece of wood, and that's because it's something called waney edged. What we need to do now is go at that with the trusty router and something called a flapper pad, which helps remove all that bark and leave a lovely edge that we can set our epoxy to. So it's important to remove the bark as well, because the bark itself contains oxygen, and once you pour the epoxy over it, bubbles of oxygen slowly come out of the wood, and that can spoil the finish. So it's really important that we take our time and get this part right. And so, just like that, the flapper disc has taken care of all of the bark that sat along the side of the edges of these beautiful olive wood. And now they're ready to go together in our mould before we pour our epoxy, and these two pieces of wood become part of a beautiful chopping board. Onto the science bit, the pouring. So here we have our jug of chemicals, and you can see there's some gloopy stuff and some liquid stuff, and they don't quite gel together, as you can see. That is the basis of your epoxy resin. And now, using my trusted mixer, I've now got to stir and stir and stir and stir and stir, and well, I'll see you in 4 minutes time. Gosh, I'm tired from all that mixing. So now we need to add our secret ingredient, the colour powder. This metallic pigment is the stuff that takes our epoxy and turns it into a thing of wonder and lustrous beauty. Once again, take your powder, take your magic mixer, and slowly, you've guessed it, more mixing. See you in a couple of minutes. Right, that's our gunge, all nicely mixed. Now for a quick science bit, okay? Wood is less dense than epoxy resin, which means that if I pour that into there, the wood, yep, you guessed, it's gonna float. So as a result, a couple of handy house bricks do the job, and they mean that my wood can stay nicely in place and not cause any floating. Now for the fun bit, the pour. Starting slowly at one end, make your way along the river to the end and back in repeated motions until you filled the river. And there we go, pour complete. Just move that brick back. It's actually spilled over the edges a little bit, but that's fine, that's no problems, because when the epoxy's cured, which by the way takes 48 hours, so once it's cured, we'll plane that off, restore a level surface before we start sanding everything down through the grits. But for now, that looks just fine. So we leave that lie for, well, 48 hours. But halfway through the curing time, we're going to introduce some highlights and some lowlights just to give a little bit of contrast to the green and break it up and put a bit of a pattern in to give give some interest to the piece as well. So stay tuned for that. That'll be tomorrow now. So we'll leave that be for now. One more thing I nearly forgot. Because you've been mixing that epoxy mixture for 4 minutes, air finds its way into the mixture. And once you've poured it, guess what? Like a weak lager, those bubbles rise to the top. How are we going to get rid of those? We're going to use one of these bad boys. What is it? It's a blowtorch. Look how satisfying that is. Bubbles be gone. With that, the bubbles have gone and we've got a glassy smooth surface again. Beautiful. So today we're adding the highlights, which are going to be coloured shimmering white and silvery black, to the green that we poured yesterday. As it takes 48 hours to cure, I've left that overnight for approximately 12 or 14 hours now, just so that it starts to solidify ever so slightly. And when I put these extra colours in, they don't merge straight away into the green that we poured. First things first though, if you remember like yesterday, put together the secret formula and then in with the mixer. Mix, 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 mix. See you in 4 minutes. So, with a little more mixing and a little bit of stirring and a little bit of addition of pigments to the mixed epoxy resin, we now have some white, a lovely cream metallic colour, and a dark silvery, almost titanium colour, and they're going to act as the highlights and lowlights that we're going to run through the river that we've put into our board. So let's go and do that now. So here's our board, and this is what it looks like after round about 12 or 14 hours worth of curing. As you can see, the river running down the middle of the board is absolutely glass-like at the moment. Well, we're about to ruin that. We're about to firstly start by adding some highlights, which we're going to pour very gently across the surface. Like so. And now we're going to add our low lights as well. So our contrast, our shadow, if you will. Again, just dribble it on. Lovely. And now for the challenging part. We need to blend these because you can see that the colours haven't exactly sunk in. That's because we've let the resin cure partly. So the idea now is that we create some swirls, blending those colours. And you keep going until you really get the effect that you want. Don't worry at this stage if you see any lumps or bumps forming in the resin. It's still fluid enough to be self-leveling, so when I finish dicking about with it, everything will go back to being lovely and level again. There, for me, I think that's probably enough. We don't want to over mix, we want some degree of colour separation. So now, what to do? Well, first things first, if you remember yesterday, we wanted to get rid of all the bubbles, and I can see some bubbles in that. So light your blowtorch, and off you go. That's eliminated all the bubbles. So now I don't have to do anything, just leave it for 36 hours and we can come back to it and see what progress has been made while it dries. Right, so we've given it a couple of days now for that resin to harden, and I'm pretty pleased with the results. It's looking quite nice. Everything's nice and solid, so we can remove the bricks and we can set work on moving this piece towards completion. Oh, we have a bit of a problem. Stuck solid. If you take a look at that, you can see that brick's got resined in on the top. Fortunately, we'll be finishing this off in a minute with the plane, so it doesn't really matter if we make a little bit of a mess because we'll soon be clearing that up. So time to give it a little bit of encouragement. And this is what we look like after 40 minutes or so of planing. You can see things are generally coming up. You can see the grain coming out now of the beautiful olive wood, and well, just the other side to go, and all the edges. See you in a couple of hours.
So that's about 90 minutes worth of planing constantly. It's pretty noisy, so always do it with headphones on to cancel the noise and take care of your hearing. So we finally arrived at sanding time, so we're getting near towards the end of the purpose of this journey, which is to complete this beautiful chopping board. So we go through all of the grits on every side and every edge to get us to where we need to be, and that's the ultimate perfect smooth finish. So we start with P40, P60, P80, we then get towards the medium grits at P120, P180, 240. Things then start getting fine and smooth, and it goes to 320, 400, 600, but we don't stop there. Nope, we go 1000, and then believe it or not, we go 2000, and then we finish sanding. So, see you in another hour and a half or so.
So here's our board. It's been smooth, sanded. The edges have been profiled nicely, so it's easy to pick up. And now we just need to finish it off. A good glug of oil on both sides and on the edges, and that will make sure that this is well seasoned. Those colours coming out. As you can see, beautiful translucent emerald green. Turn her over. repeat the process. You need to take your time with this, making sure that the oil gets the opportunity of penetrating deeply in the wood. Although I do wipe off a little bit of the excess, I do like to leave the boards for a period of time, just so that this coating of oil gets a proper chance to sink in. But just for your benefit, so you can see the final product, here we go. One emerald green chopping board, made from olive wood and custom made epoxy with graphite and pearl white highlights. Now on special offer, you can get one for £25 off, but only if you order before Good Friday. And the results really speak for themselves, don't they? Absolutely stunning. Beautiful figuring in the wood and translucent emerald green epoxy that shines brightly in the light. Beautiful.